What's up, y'all? BK back here to bring you some more amazing pickleball content. So today we're going to be reviewing the brand new Ruby from SixZero. I've had my hands on it for a little while, maybe over a week and a half now, and been playing with it for a little bit, and I'm absolutely in love with this paddle. It is a fantastic Kevlar paddle, so we're going to go right ahead, dive straight into it, and let's do this full review on the Ruby from SixZero. Let's do it. So let's first talk about the out-of-the-box feel and look of this paddle. The paddle from SixZero comes with this beautiful neoprene cover. It's got this red logo on it to represent the Ruby color, and it also comes with a little sticker inside. However, the first thing that you're gonna notice when you take that cover off is this might be the most gorgeous paddle I've ever seen in my life. The colors are vibrant, the white edge guard is absolutely amazing. I do have an overgrip applied on here, but the original grip on this paddle is white as well with red SixZero lettering all over it, and it looks fantastic. Just from that standpoint, this paddle is one of the most gorgeous paddles out on the market, so you will not be disappointed by the look. Before we continue, if y'all have been enjoying my videos so far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button below and also like this video, share it with all your friends, and comment below what other content you'd like to see us film. We really have enjoyed putting out all this content for you, and it really helps us out if you're able to subscribe to the channel so we can continue pumping out great pickleball content. Now back to the action. Now going into the specifications of this paddle, as with pretty much every SixZero paddle or all of their premium paddles, this does have that hybrid shape with a curved edge and a 5.5-inch handle, as well as a 16mm core. Also comes with a 4.25-inch grip circumference, which is really good for you to either add an overgrip or replace the original grip to customize it the way you want it to be. The weight of this paddle averages to about 8.3 ounces, give or take 0.3 ounces, and this paddle does fall on the heavier side of most paddles. So as far as the specifications of this paddle go, it's pretty standard to all the other paddles that SixZero has on the market. Now, where this paddle differs is the face. The face of this paddle is a proprietary complete Kevlar face, and this is premium quality Kevlar. This Kevlar, I believe they get it from DuPont, which is one of the premium Kevlar companies out there, very similar to the Torres of the T700 rock carbon surfaces. So the Kevlar face on this paddle is what makes it stand out. If you haven't used a Kevlar paddle before and are looking to try one, this should be the first Kevlar paddle in your hand. So again, Kevlar is the one thing that makes this paddle stand out, and we're going to talk about how it performs and what the Kevlar affects right now. Diving right into the performance of this paddle, as I said, I have been playing with it for about a week and a half now. Played a lot of games, all the way from 4.0 games up to some 5.5 and some pros as well. And the performance of this paddle really withstood all those different levels and the touch of my game. The one thing that immediately stood out with this paddle was the pop. Now, for those of you that are new to pickleball or haven't heard this terminology before, pop is very similar to power, but there are slight differences when it comes to a paddle. So when it comes to pop, what we're looking for is how much power do I get on my counter shots. So how quickly does the ball deflect off my paddle back to my opponent? That's what we're looking for when we're looking at pop. And this paddle is extremely poppy for those counter situations. That was by far my favorite part about this paddle, was how easy it was to counter the ball and how quickly I was able to counter the ball at my opponents, catching them off guard. Now, the difference between pop and power is power refers to how much speed or velocity you can generate on the ball from a standstill position. So if I'm the one initiating a drive or initiating a speed up, how much power can I generate off of this paddle from a dead ball spot? That's what we refer to when we say power. As far as power goes, this paddle also has a lot of power, but it's not the most powerful paddle out there. There are definitely more powerful paddles on the market. However, what I will say is this helps me control the ball and keep my speed up shots in the court more than those power paddles do. So as far as how much power I need from a paddle, this does just the right job. Now, the reason I say I was able to put a lot of balls into the court, even though this is a very poppy and powerful paddle, is because the spin on this paddle is exceptional. This really is one of the more spinny paddles that I've used or had in my hands. And that's because there is a slight grit on this Kevlar surface, and the Kevlar itself feels pretty rough to touch, which gives me really good grip on the ball and helps me really feel the ball as I'm trying to add my spin shots. So when it comes to those topspin drives and those topspin speed ups, rolls, all these different topspin shots that I hit at the net or at the baseline, this paddle does a really good job of helping me keep the ball in the court even when I'm adding a lot of power to my shots. So that is definitely a huge highlight for this paddle, something SixZero absolutely got right with this one. Now, when I tried to hit my backspin shots, on the other hand, I did find it a little troubling at first to try and control those backspin shots, especially with how much pop I got off this paddle. The ball does rebound pretty quickly off this paddle, so for someone who likes to really grab the ball and spin the backspin returns and slices as much as I do, I did have a little bit of a learning curve with those shots just because I wasn't able to grab the ball as much as I would with other paddles. However, once I did get used to the pop on this paddle, again, the spin rate off this paddle is so high that it's so efficient to really hit those slice shots and catch your opponents off guard with those sliding, skidding balls. So I did touch on the feel of this paddle a little bit with how it grabs the ball. And I will say, if you are looking for a full control paddle, this is not it. This is definitely a great power paddle. However, if you do get the right balance and setup on this paddle, it is actually very effortless to hit your drops, dinks, and reset shots. Initially, when I first got the paddle and I put the weight on my paddle, I had it a little higher up where I had it closer to the SixZero logo on the side. But what I was finding was the paddle was so head heavy that every time I tried to drop or dink a ball, I would hit it about 3 feet further than I intended to. And that's because my hand was coming down faster than it would on a regular paddle. So what ends up happening is, because the paddle's so poppy, if you're early on a shot, you're really gonna pop that ball straight into the sky, which is going to be really hard to control. However, once I did take that weight off and put it closer to the throat, I found a huge difference in how easily I was able to control my drops and dinks. The beauty about this paddle is that it really has so much pop that you're really able to effortlessly drop and dink the ball without having to put too much of an effort on your shoulder or your elbow or your wrist, because you can legitimately let the paddle do the work. All you have to do is figure out your touch on this paddle, which will take a few reps, so give it a little time. But once you figure out the touch on this paddle, the paddle really does all the work for you. So it is super effortless to hit those drops and resets, especially when you're at the baseline and all you're trying to do is just get yourself up to the kitchen line. You can just sit there, let your opponent hit the ball hard, just simply block with this paddle and use those little floaty touch shots to get yourself up to the kitchen line with little to no effort. That is something that really surprised me about this paddle, because I did not expect it from such a poppy, powerful paddle for it to have the control that it does on those softer shots. One of the biggest questions that I've gotten from anybody that's seen me use the Ruby over the last week and a half is, how does it compare to the other premium SixZero paddles? Now, if you've used the double black diamond or the black diamond, or hopefully both, this paddle is kind of a mix between the two. The double black diamond is a great control paddle, really gives you a good feel for the ball, good spin rates, and is definitely more of a touch paddle than a power paddle, whereas the black diamond is a pure power paddle and really is hard to control your resets and drops with the black diamond. The Ruby is a really good in-between if you're looking for a paddle that's going to give you the power and pop that you want on your counter shots and your drives, while still being able to fairly control those drops and resets in the transition zone and at the baseline to get that ball in the kitchen and progress your game up to the kitchen line. So again, if you are looking for a full control paddle, this is not the one for you. Definitely go pick up the double black diamond instead. It is the best control paddle out there. The Infinity is also a really good option for the control game. However, if you're looking for a more powerful paddle without sacrificing too much in the way of your touch shots with your drops and your resets, definitely check the Ruby out. It is a fantastic game changer very new technology, and the full Kevlar face is exceptional when it comes to being able to counterpunch while still maintaining the control on your drops and your resets. The paddle does come on the heavier side, so if you are looking to find a paddle that's a little lighter, that's easier on the arm, go check out the Double Black Diamond or some other Lytle paddles on the market. So again, if you're someone that is looking for a lighter paddle or has certain issues with your arm or shoulder where you can't deal with heavier paddles, this might not be the paddle for you, or you might have to balance it out differently the way I have. But if you are okay with the weight, this is a great paddle for you. The way I have my lead tape set up really made the difference for me. I do suggest everyone, when you do get this paddle, add some weight either in the handle itself or towards the throat of the paddle. It's going to help you balance the paddle out and give you more control without being too reckless with this paddle. It does have a lot of pop already, so there's really not much need to add any lead tape to the top and make it more head heavy than it already is. So if you are looking to optimize this paddle in a sense, definitely add some weight to the bottom where the handle is or to the throat of the paddle. It'll make all the difference in the world. All right, y'all, so just to hit the highlights again, the Ruby is a brand new full Kevlar premium paddle that SixZero has put out. It's absolutely exceptional. I really enjoyed playing with this paddle, and honestly will probably use it as my permanent paddle going forward, especially for those games where I need more of a power game. If I'm looking to play a more control game, I probably wouldn't stick with the Ruby, but for the power game, and if I'm playing with Franklin's, this is definitely the paddle for me at the moment. The premium Kevlar face that they've got for DuPont is really, really high quality. So when SixZero puts out a paddle, I am never questioning their quality because they've always put out the finest quality paddles on the market. If you're someone that's used to the Double Black Diamond or the Black Diamond and are looking for a little in-between paddle, this is the perfect paddle for you. It does a really good job of countering and using pop and power to control a game while still being able to fairly easily touch balls into the kitchen and reset with ease. The price of this paddle comes out to $199, which for a premium paddle is really good value for money, especially for a full Kevlar face. If you're looking to get the Ruby for yourself, make sure to use the code BUTTOF10 at SixZeroPickleball.com, and I'll leave the link in the description to automatically apply your code at checkout. The paddle releases on December 6th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure you're first on, get your hands on this beautiful paddle before stocks run out. SixZero does tend to run out of paddles really fast, so make sure to get on there on December 6th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and get your hands on the brand new Ruby. Thanks for watching, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed playing with the Ruby and filming this review for you. Make sure again to subscribe below to my channel, like and comment below what you'd like to see me do next as far as instructionals or other paddles that you'd like to see me review. As always, I've been BK. You can follow me at BK_Pickleball on Instagram. And until next time, I'll see you later.